Los Angeles, I'm and most Hollywood nights. She goes to California, oh, California.
What you say about Los Angeles?
LA got the people saying,
Los Angeles.
You're listening to Corner of the Galaxy on cornerofthegalaxy.com. Welcome to Corner of the Galaxy, the show that talks 100% LA Galaxy soccer. We're glad you could join us. Now it's time to sit back and relax as your hosts navigate through the twisting, turning, but never boring world of your six-time MLS Cup champion, LA Galaxy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Corner of the Galaxy on cornerofthegalaxy.com. I'm your host, Josh Guesman, coming to you on Thursday, March 5th. LA Galaxy getting ready to travel off to the Mile High City, or right next to it, to Commerce, Colorado, where they'll take on the Colorado Rapids coming up. Interesting game. I'm going to tell you this one's going to be a good test for the LA Galaxy very early. We're going to talk about that game and get you ready for that. That means we have another magical map coming up as well, if you're excited about that. There's landed on Bobbleheads, there's Leagues Cup, not that it matters. There's some other events that have sort of been tipped around the LA Galaxy, and we're going to get you through all that, including the press conference, media availability today with Greg Vanney and Jakob Glesnes. So a lot to get to, as always, on a Thursday night. And to help me do all that, we're glad to have them back. It's Eric, the Portuguese Hammer Vieira. Sir, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. The LA Galaxy are undefeated in 2026. So, yeah, you know what? We're here to celebrate. I was thinking back. I haven't been on the show since the season has started with the, away game at San Miguelito, right, and it being on a Thursday, and then Sophie covering the home opener. So, it's, this is my first 2026, appearance here. So I'm excited to be here. How's everything with you? Everything all good?
As the chat room is correctly pointing out, got a little haircut, which is
okay. A little Klauss cut.
Yeah, I mean, little straighter than that. But I would say okay. I am at the point in my hair loss journey where the nice Asian lady who cuts my hair at Sport Clips, because we're not going to be too fancy around here. We don't need to be pretentious.
It ain't broke.
Diego Fagundes is upset about that, I'm sure. But we're going to Sports Clips. We're doing that. She also makes fun of my hair while she's cut, but like in a nice way. It's not a bad way. It's just a nice way.
You'll put that request in to get her again. It's that's the type of ribbing that you want when you go there. Yeah,
she got, how they have the thinning shears, right? That has all the little different things that go in there. And she goes, "Oh, if I put this in your hair, no more hair." And I'm like, "Yep, that's true. That is absolutely correct." I name all the ones on the top of my head, so we laughed about that and the whole deal. So yeah, it's all good. You know what?
Perfect.
I like this. Pull it back on the side, call it good. I got a summer cut going. It's fine. It still
trim
looks
the
better
ears is what we like to call it. Yeah, make it look good. Now here's the real question. Yeah. Did you splurge for the MVP?
I always get the MVP. I always get the MVP. I feel like it's nothing special. Let's be honest. It is absolute bare minimum. It is bare like the only part that I think is actually relaxing is like the scalp massage. That's about it.
Yes, of course. That's what you're paying for.
The
folks.
towel is usually too hot, but I don't say anything. I'm like, let it go. It's just not gonna
or
be
too cold. It's never just right. That's for sure. Yeah.
And then the seat that vibrates just does. I don't know what. You don't even need to turn it on. You just leave that off.
Things working overtime. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they go and they like do a shoulder massage with like and I'm
the
like,
gun,
why are we doing that? Like, what is it's all good, but it's fine.
It's charming.
It's fine. My hair still looks better than João Klauss's, by the way. His is always like so frantic and like I don't know. Maybe if I ran around and was 28 years old, I've had my hair a lot longer than Klauss's. Let's just be very clear, okay?
There we go.
Okay, good.
We'll leave it there. I'm not gonna disparage the Galaxy's leading goal scorer, so I'll leave it at that.
No, it's the bald head Matt. That's his solar power up there. That's why he can keep running and keeps
going.
Yeah.
You're onto something. Solar power.
He's got solar power. That's how it works. But no, so made it through there. I want to ask you one more thing. Being we are in the season of Girl Scout cookies, is it normal to order the 4 or 5 boxes of Girl Scout cookies and then eat them all within 2 days? Is that usually how that works?
Yes,
Okay.
that's and okay. I'm gonna be that guy. Here we go. We're having our sport clip takes.
Yes.
And now Girl Scout cookie takes. They've gotten smaller, right? The boxes are smaller. There's fewer cookies.
I feel
right?
like it.
Is it
probably,
just me?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Again, I'm still gonna devour them, like you said, but it feels like there's fewer sleeves on those, caramel delights or Samoas, depending on where you're buying your cookies. So I don't know what it is, but again, maybe that's me, or maybe my it's one of those what do they call it, Mandela effects, where I imagined that it was better than what it was.
Yeah, absolutely could be. By the way, everybody's saying, like, did we get new cameras? I know you did, but you're not using it, correct? Like, that's not.
That's the funny thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did get a new camera. I'm not using it because technologically impaired. I pulled my best, Kevin the Panda Baxter, and was having difficulty connecting it. So I do have a new camera, just I'm not using it. But I'm glad it looks good.
Yeah, apparently they say mine looks really good too. Which again, the only thing I can think of is that, like, maybe the people who are cleaning the house today, like, clean the camera lens. I should probably do that every once in a while. That's about it. LA Galaxy getting ready to head off to Colorado. That's exciting. You did set the LA Galaxy are undefeated, still undefeated. We'll take that to the Mile High City in Colorado there and attempt to defend that. What did you think of the Charlotte game? Is that the real LA Galaxy, or are we waiting? Do we have to wait?
I think a wise man once said, "Don't peak too soon." That's always my thing, especially when you see some teams around the league, and in particular, maybe some people across, some crosstown rivals looking good right now. Hey, that's great. But are you going to look good when it comes to MLS Cup playoffs? And are you going to peak at the right time? So I always do not necessarily want my team peaking this early in the season. So people were mad when I was calling, the LA Galaxy undefeated with their multiple draws, to start the season, and rightfully so, because they didn't look fantastic. But I liked the 5-minute spurt that we saw against Charlotte. You have to give credit to Klauss. You have to give credit to Peck for making things happen. Paintsill was crashing the goal there. Sanabria, he put himself in the right spot. I thought you made a great comment about if Royce is in the game, does he make that run? Is he in that position? I don't think so. And so maybe that's a conversation for another day. But I think this could be the 2026 LA Galaxy, and I think we just need to see more of a sample size to get there. So right now, MVP of the season so far for me is Joao Klauss. Obviously that's a no-brainer for someone who likes goals. I'm going to go with the forward who knows how to bang them in.
Wait a minute. The Galaxy have allowed one shot on goal from the run of play.
I know.
One shot on goal. And you're like, it's obviously the forward. Obviously.
And we'll get there once we get to the game previews and guaranteed to be predictions, because I'm going to show the defense some love. But I'm a guy who have always said that the Galaxy need a number 9. They need a guy who knows how to put the ball in the back of the net. And I'm going to do my thing where I say I don't want to be disrespectful, but I'm going to be really disrespectful.
Yeah.
Klauss, a couple of those goals, he puts those away where Nascimento and Ramirez just don't score those goals. The second goal where even though they passed it to him, the other two forwards that we had don't score those goals. So they don't put themselves in the right spot to cut off the pass. They don't have the ball control and the technique to make that finish. So I feel like Klauss is the real deal. That's what we want. He shows those glimpses. So not sorry to Christian Ramirez. I know he got to, he bookmarks his tweets and goes back, to go after people. So he can bookmark this, and when he scores a goal that doesn't bounce off 4 people and he heads it in from 2 yards, then he can come back and shove it in my face. But to me, Klauss is just a guy who knows, he has a knack for scoring the goal, and that's what you need, especially if you're going to build your team around defense, which it looks like they are. You're going to need the smash and grab. You're going to need the guy who could capitalize on that one opportunity, and I think Klauss is that guy. So I really like what I saw from him in particular in that Charlotte game. He showed great glimpses in the other games as well. So we're going to find out if this was the real LA Galaxy or if this was, they had a hot 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think the whole idea that going to Colorado, it was interesting because hearing Glesnes talk today, Jakob, he's like such a super dude. Like you immediately you talk to him, you want to root for him. You can sort of feel that in him. He loves it out here. I actually asked him, how the move was out east and west, and he said, he said that one of his little ones, they said, hey, we're gonna move, and you're gonna get so many new friends. He's like, I have enough friends. I'm good. Like we don't have to go anywhere, which is such a great
That's
answer,
funny.
right? It's like, yep. Whole deal, but he loves it out here. His kid now was basically saying like, yeah, you want to move back? No, I like it here. We're staying here. So that's sort of nice. So it's nice to see the family settled. It's nice to see him settled. But he said something to me today that I think most people would agree with, but I don't know if it's as deep as maybe he intended, which was he said the Colorado game is going to be a different game. And like, they're all different games, right? So like we can take it like base level. Like, let's break this down. Let's take a base level. Every game is a different game. Okay, cool. But he's really means we're going to be on the road. We're at altitude. There's things that are going to be different about this game that are going to cause us to have to play differently, react differently, do things differently. And he basically said, my expectations for how we handle that are really high. Right? Like we know we're going to face something different. We know we're going to come into this different. We haven't played on the road, in MLS yet. And, that's something that we haven't done. Now we're going to do it. And it's going to be a challenge for us. And we're looking forward to that challenge. We expect that we're going to be successful. Right? And that's in a place that the Galaxy, Colorado's a place the Galaxy don't win. Just flat out. I think they've lost 14 wins and 22 losses, right? Like it's lopsided enough that you're like, oh yeah, you don't win games there at all.
Yeah. And the funny thing with the scheduling gods, I've been around long enough. It always feels like Colorado is a midweek game later on in the season. So it does feel weird that it's earlier in the season on a Saturday at Colorado. It seems like it's usually not the case. And I think that could be a factor on why the Galaxy have been unsuccessful, because it feels like they go into Colorado on those midweek games. So maybe the fact that they get a week's rest and then kind of have their time to digest and realize what it is that they're walking into. So maybe this could be, a shift, for the defense, and they're willing to accept the challenge. So this could be where we start to turn the tide. Do
you want to hear a crazy thing that Greg said today? I think either Rob or Alex asked about just if not having a game this week, that you got a chance to have like a full training and have a full week and the whole deal. And Greg goes, yeah, he goes, this is the first time that all the players have been together on the training field, because they've been splitting them up, and there's different guys recovering at different times because the games are. He goes, it's the first time all of the team has been on the training field at the same time since just before the Orange County scrimmage.
Wow.
That's actually that's a long time.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I was like, whoa. That's actually I was like, oh, it's going to be sometime at Coachella, blah blah blah. And it was like just before they went to Coachella, it was before that Orange County game. That's the last time they had the whole team on the same page. One is, I think that Greg's probably in charge of all that stuff and can probably change some of that stuff in the preseason. But two is that they're feeling that sort of rejuvenation from getting everybody together, being able to work on things. I expect they will be prepared for this Colorado game. What does that mean? I don't know. Did the Galaxy get blown out 4-0? And Josh said they're going to be prepared. It feels like that they should be, but you never know right now, especially earlier in the season with everything. So yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it's you were mentioning about the game congestion, and I think that's going to come down the line, and we'll talk about that when we have the upcoming schedule. But this is game one out the gate. Even though it is on the road, you have to. You're ready. You have to get something out of this game, or I know we're not going to get into the must wins and that can't lose situations, but you have the opportunity to set yourself up to get something out of this first road game.
You absolutely do. Here, we can even take a look at the upcoming schedule just in case anybody forgot. Starting on the 7th, which is Saturday, in this game against Colorado Rapids, and the LA Galaxy play 5 games, counting the Saturday, in 16 days. That's a lot of games. One of them includes about a 7-hour trip to Jamaica. So that's going to be fun, because that's 7 hours there and then 7 hours back. What a fun map that will be. Can't wait. Excited. It's map days all the time. I have the new map too. I did it this afternoon, so I'm excited about that, going to Colorado. So we'll have that a little bit later as well. But Still, a lot of games coming. The LA Galaxy and Greg Vanney mentioned today, he said, basically goes, as we get healthier. And the only people who are out right now are Miro Garces out with a toe injury that suffered in that New York City game. It was actually one of the reasons they were attempting to sub him at the time, whenever he got the second yellow on the red card. So that's out. And then Chris Rindolph is the only other one who is out. And I think it's a knee, but I don't remember for sure, and I did not ask for clarification today from Greg because I just knew Chris has been out and we weren't expecting. But Isaiah Parente returns. So Greg says, now that we have everybody sort of getting healthy, he goes, basically at every position we have two guys. And he goes, and that's gonna help us. Like he's
you've got options.
You've got options. There's a lot of different things about the chances to do that. So I thought overall, just from press conference day one, it was super windy in Carson. Big surprise, wind tunnel Carson. no surprise there, but it was just really windy. So but it was good sort of talking to him. One of the things I asked, being we're covering the press conference, or we might as well get it all out there. I asked Greg Vanney about going to play at altitude in Colorado. I'm always interested in that. I go, Greg, you played as a player. I go, did you play at Mile High? Whenever it was the play. And he was like, yeah, we did. He goes, the whole deal. He goes, I think that at the upper level, and I'm going to paraphrase here, but I think at the upper level, he said, of sort of this athletic ability that you have for these professional players, there's not that much of a difference. Like, yeah, you're going to feel it in the first 15, 20 minutes, but usually there's a second wind in there and you sort of get over it. And as long as you can handle that first 15 minutes, you're usually pretty good. And these upper level athletes don't really see it. He goes, now I remember one time I came into a preseason in Colorado to play. And he goes, and it was preseason. He goes, I wasn't in that good a shape. He goes, and it was like my mind and my body were trying to do two different things. There was no communication between the two. He goes, I wanted my body to go one direction. My mind thought we were going the other direction. He goes, it was a complete disconnect. He goes, so I think that when you're in good shape, and then he mentioned that, really everybody's gotten a lot of playing time with all the rotations and everything. He goes, I think when you're in good shape, that it matters less. He goes, but it is about sort of managing that first 15, 20 minutes at altitude until your body sort of settles into what that feels like. So I always think that's an interesting little thing to see.
And I'm glad to hear that he said that, because I think so much of it is a mental thing. It's a mental block, being able to kind of power through and understand, like you said, these are all professional athletes who operate at levels that we probably can't even imagine. So if everyone's relatively equal on the athletic level, then it's going to be who has it between the ears and can manage the changes, early on in the season. But I think this is where you're going to kind of get the fruits of your labor from Coachella, from giving those 90 minutes, making the road trips down to Panama and playing those games. I think this is going to kind of, set them up for success. It's not, even though it's the third game of the season, it's not going to feel like a preseason match, like Greg was saying, where they're going to be, sucking for air there. So I think, like we keep rephrasing and saying the same thing, that the Galaxy is set up to do well this weekend, or to show us something.
They should. I mean, that's sort of it. Let's go over some things that happened at the LA Galaxy and at the stadium coming up. So on March 2nd, the LA Galaxy invited and hosted the U.S. Association of Blind Athletes in partnership with the Play LA Adaptive Sports and the Los Angeles Unified School District. And basically they played host to the Adaptive Blind Soccer Experience on Wednesday, March 4th at Dignity Health Sports Park, right? So that was the whole thing. Almost 60 blind and visually impaired students from LAUSD spanning grades 3 through 12 participated in the hands-on soccer experience led by USA Blind Soccer Men's National Team Athletics and coaches. This is sort of they called it a historic milestone because this is the dedication of the LA Galaxy's first ever blind soccer pitch, which they put in, part of a growing national effort to sort of expand those adaptive sports opportunities in the lead up to the LA 28 Paralympic Games. Remember, you have the Olympic Games, and the Paralympic Games always fall right after it, where blind soccer will make its debut for the first time for Team USA. So pretty exciting stuff. Really awesome, like amazing, super just intuitive athletes to be able to play soccer without being able to see or severely visually impaired. So pretty cool thing. Cosmo was out there. They had the president was out there, Mr. Tom Braun. So a whole bunch of people out there doing that. And so a really fun thing for the LA Galaxy to sort of put together. So glad we got to see that. Yeah, I mean, have you seen the other? What is it? There's another like blind way. It's not soccer, but it's almost like a different game where it's like on a court.
Is it like on a basketball court?
Yeah, it's on a basketball court, and you roll the ball, and it makes, and you have to try. There's like three guys.
You're blindfolded.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. I've seen that. But just to circle back to this, I'm a huge supporter and fan of adaptive sports programs. As someone who worked Parks and Rec, and adaptive sports programs were a huge part of what we used to do. To be able to offer that, and then obviously selfishly, from like a PR perspective, these are the types of things you want your club doing: building the mini pitches, building the blind soccer pitches, getting out there in the community. This is how you build your fan base. This is how you get fans for life, is by doing things like this and being involved in the community. Of course, you get your goodwill from it, but this is how you kind of build and get your club and your fan base from there. So I'm only going to say great things about adaptive programs, and I just love to see the Galaxy involved there. Now, since it was for blind people or blind athletes or visually impaired, I'm assuming pro referees were there. Were they invited?
I was waiting.
I'm guessing they had. I'm assuming they have a representation from pro referees who was there as well.
I was waiting for you to make the referee joke.
It was right there.
It's appreciated, and thank you. Just some good things, but it also leads us again into something that you're all going to be sick and tired of hearing from me about, which is that the LA Galaxy Unified does have its big game. It's going to be on August 1st. It's against Dallas. Okay, so everybody already knows what their job is. To make sure you already have tickets to that, but we'll continue along with that as we go along. This is your one-stop shop for LA Galaxy Unified news. I will find it. I will get it. I have asked very nicely, but also in a very assertive way. Anything LA Galaxy Unified team comes my way, I know they're going to be having a signing experience here coming up next week. So I'm maybe going to be able to break away and go to that if I can, because that'll be fun. Always good.
We'll make it work.
Yeah.
I like you said, circle your calendars. We have the date now. We talked about it in the preseason. We're going to go all in on the Unified team. So, it kind of ties in with the adaptive sports here. So you have the date. Now set it, and it sounded like you have some things in the works, and so maybe we'll to get some COG listeners down and making some noise. So we have our marching orders, we know our dates, so we're getting one step closer to supporting the team out there. Another
thing that's coming out, and okay, so I have a couple things. One, we know Landon Donovan's book is coming out, right? And so that's coming out. Kevin the Panda Baxter has an advanced copy. I'm working on getting one. I doubt I will, but I'm working on it. We're also.
I'm gonna purchase mine. I'm gonna support.
You're gonna
Landon
support
Donovan.
the LD.
I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is and actually go out and buy it.
We are also efforting to get Landon on the show for the book release as well. So we're working on that. I believe that book comes out on March 28th. I think it's the end of the month, if I remember correctly. But the LA Galaxy, not to be unlandoned, they got to make sure that they get in there as well, which, by the way, you should, any chance you get. 15,000 fans will receive Landon Donovan bobbleheads, and a special, I believe, 500 of them, Eric, have the U.S. flag behind them. Those things are going to sell for a dang fortune, man.
Especially in a World Cup year, that's really going to go hard. And that's, I think the Galaxy put out something about all the things that they have. 100 days till the World Cup.
Yep.
I think that's where we're at.
Yep.
So all of the different lead up to it, and this is part of it. And so this is news that Tom Braun broke at Coachella. So I believe, if you were at the Coachella or you listened to the live show, he broke the news that we're going to have, a special Landon Donovan bobblehead, and that 500 out of the 15,000. Again, that's insane when you say it and you think about, maybe some previous handouts and fiascos that happened, that you can tell that they're listening to the fans and they want to do right by that number, that sheer number that they're going to have. And then to do the special edition on top of it, it's so cool. It looks great. So again, we love to make the joke. They did a good job with the hair. Again, they didn't overdo it. Obviously, they didn't give him the new version.
Right.
I think that's LA Galaxy, Landon Donovan. That's the correct hair for it. So again, you love to see it.
Okay, good. I mean, I think we're getting there. We're
too positive. Everything's going great. Yeah, where's the bad stuff? I feel like we need something else, some negativity.
I mean, if they lose against Colorado, everybody will be ready to go ahead and dump everybody. And by the way,
we're feeling too good.
Yeah. By the way, I should point out that the LA Galaxy haven't won a road game since 2024. That is a correct.
Yes.
That is a correct statement.
That's in my notes as well. Yeah.
Yes. So, just on top. So, I mean, there's plenty negative. All you have to see one win, and all of a sudden it turned everybody positive. No, not on this show. Okay, the LA Galaxy could struggle offensively. What happens whenever the LA Galaxy gets scored on first? I need to know the answers to these questions. This is very much in the mold, and it feels that way. I'm getting deja vu vibes a little bit. I don't know that it will end the same way, but I'm getting these deja vu vibes of well, the Galaxy are going to have to prove to me what they are, because after last year, I refuse to be made fun of. And wasn't that us all of 2024 trying to figure out what the LA Galaxy? Well, is this the LA Galaxy? Is that the LA Galaxy?
Yeah,
we didn't.
Up until the final, we were still asking that question.
Man, cracks me up. We did have a super chat in here, and I would like to shout him out. Mr. Aaron in the super chat, $5 super chat. He says, thanks for the intro to Nikki, Miss Nikki K, of course, a big fan. I mean, she was a co-host here for a little while as well on the podcast whenever she was sideline reporting for Spectrum. But Miss Nikki K, doing the sports for Spectrum, got in touch with Aaron. Aaron goes, apparently I was on tonight, but I don't have Spectrum. Hopefully I'll see myself tomorrow online. Irregardless, I did text Nikki and be like,
there
hey,
it is.
I go, just
throw an irregardless at him.
Yeah. I said throw an irregardless in there at Aaron whenever you see him. So the whole deal. She was actually doing a story on World Cup tickets and whether or not you felt like you could afford them or not. And I was like, no, I don't feel like I can afford World Cup tickets and the whole deal. But nobody wants to put me on TV anymore. It's the hair. I know. I got to work on it. Shave it off.
Yeah, we'll have to see Aaron's hair. Aaron, show your hair. Send a picture of your hair so we can see if it was good or not. But yeah, shout out to Nikki. Yeah, doing her thing on Spectrum, and I know still involved with the Lakers and some some things out there. So
she works
a true pro.
She worked so hard. She was out there covering fire coverage whenever there was the big fires and everything. She was all over the place and the whole deal. And not only that, but just to, again, Nikki was one of the people who absolutely buried herself in sideline reporting for the LA Galaxy. Wanted to know everything about everything, the whole deal. But so we used to text a lot just to stay caught up on the teams. That way she'd be good, and then she'd come on the show and she'd do all that. Just to say that, how awesome of a person she is, as busy as she is, still drops a text every once in a while, just checks in to say hi, the whole deal. And then whenever she needs something, 100%, we're there. We got it. Yeah. No cup. She's like, do you know anybody? I'm like, let me hit the Discord and Twitter. I'll get back to you. So, we were able to do that. But yeah, she's amazing. We love Nikki K. So, so now I don't know. Leagues Cup? Do you want to talk about Leagues Cup that nobody cares about? I guess. I mean, they announced Leagues Cup, and so I guess the saving grace from the fan perspective, the argument is always, well, why are these tournaments happening? There's extra games, meaningless, cash grab type of situation, which I will let you know that the LA Galaxy are in CONCACAF Champions Cup because of Leagues Cup last season. So again, there are some merits to it that are beneficial, but the LA Galaxy will not be in this season's Leagues Cup. So again, it's the 18 MLS qualifying teams, and based on their performance last season, the LA Galaxy are not one of those invited teams. And then, of course, the 18 Liga MX teams. So again, they have it balanced. That way they can separate the groups, very similar to what they did last year, where they're going to play teams from the other league, and then the top 4 teams based on your points and goal differential. That's who's going to advance. Very similar to how it worked last season. So it's going to be interesting how it plays out. And fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, the LA Galaxy will not be involved. Fortunately, you won't have to worry about schedule congestion, but unfortunately, there's not a path to qualify for CONCACAF Champions Cup next season. They're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way on the regular MLS table. I will say that they're going to play some games in Mexico, which is a nice change.
That's the big news. Yeah, that's true.
But I don't think it's that many games. I think it's like 3 or 4 games. It doesn't seem like it's a whole bunch, but maybe the top 3 or 4 in the Mexican side actually might get to play some home games. So we'll sort of watch and see how that develops in there. The weird thing, if I can look at the scheduling, is that the LA Galaxy are off whenever they're off through the World Cup, and then they come back the weekend or the week before the World Cup final to play LAFC and El Tráfico. They'll go through that July with a little bit of time, and then Leagues Cup is going to come, and there's going to be another break in there for the Galaxy of not playing games. So it's going to be very stoppish, startish. We can look at this any way you want, and I guarantee you by the time you get there, you're going to be like, man, this is really bad. The Galaxy aren't playing games. And also,
we lost momentum.
Yeah,
we don't have our momentum.
Yeah,
we just won 2 games. Yeah,
it's all over. It's all over. You know, you're not going to be able to do it. And there's too many times we need to find games and the whole deal. And then there's going to be, right now, we're going to tell you it's probably going to be okay. Don't have the schedule congestion, like you said. There's going to be lots of healthy bodies for that stretch run in the second half after everybody gets back from Leagues Cup. But that Leagues Cup basically, I think, goes from August 4th or 5th all the way through September. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's August and September. And again, it's not. There isn't the full. There is a break in there, but it's not. No one is playing. There are going to be games kind of in between midweek games and different things happening. So it's not going to be like it was where the whole league shuts down for a month. But since today's theme seems to be butterflies and rainbows and everything being positive, if you're worried about injuries, you're worried about staying healthy. If you have, defense is going to be your thing where you want your center backs to be in line, I think a break could be a good thing. So again, when you talk about not losing guys to injuries, having time, like we said, Greg mentioned having the whole group together, training, being able to have those conversations and game plan going into whatever their next game is, you can spin that in a very positive way too.
If we remember in 2024, we were sort of like, why is the Leagues Cup here in the middle of all this? Like the Galaxy are playing pretty well.
That was their one shining spot.
Well, I mean, that was like in 2024 during the MLS Cup run. Like when you're playing
that run. Yes,
you don't want Leagues Cup. You're like, what? No, get it out of the way. Like make it go away. Beat it with a stick, something like that, right? And the bottom line is last year it was sort of that, like you said, the bright spot. It was the saving grace of the season, and it put them into CONCACAF Champions Cup because of that reason. So top 3, I believe, advance into CONCACAF, just like they did last time, 1, 2, and 3. So Galaxy finished 3rd. That's why they got it. So it's a lot of things. It's just there's a lot of competitions. The Galaxy just aren't in any of them. No Open Cup, no Leagues Cup. You have CONCACAF at the beginning.
I thought it's one or the other. I thought they used to parse it out, but it seems like the Galaxy are on the short end of both sticks there.
But only because the Galaxy, I think, qualified for CONCACAF Champions Cup, and if you're in CONCACAF Champions Cup, you can't be in Open Cup, and so that was the reason. So like you sort of you backdoor
double whammy.
You backdoor qualified last time, and now you get to skip both of them this time. So, but again, I think overall for the Galaxy and what they're trying to do, the problem with it is if this turns out to, and let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. But if this LA Galaxy team turns out to be prolific, right? If you were like for some reason things start clicking, if the LA Galaxy runs some big undefeated streaks, they run a bunch of winning streaks, the whole deal. If they start putting that together, then you'd like to have some other competitions to prove that the LA Galaxy are because why was Toronto's MLS Cup ranked the #1 MLS Cup? It's because what else they did that year, right? And it's sort of like you can sit there and say, okay, I understand this. Why was 2011 for the LA Galaxy that MLS Cup ranked so high? Because 2011 MLS Cup won a supporter shield as well and ran through everybody. Like it's like these other it's how do you measure it? And I think that
the resume building.
Yeah, you lose some of that because then what happens is people say, well, yeah, but the Galaxy didn't have to play an Open Cup, didn't have to play a Leagues Cup. Like what you
just got hot at the right time and that was it. Yeah, you played a good 6 games and that won you MLS Cup, which you know what? Fine. I'll take that all day too.
Yeah, the Open Cup disrespect is tragic. I like the Open Cup. I wish it was still a league-wide tournament. I like it better than Leagues Cup. Although, as we always say on this show, I badmouth Leagues Cup every chance I get. And then as soon as I start watching it, I actually have a pretty good time. But I will continue. I will go back and forth on that all the time. Right now, I hate it. I don't like it. I think it's a stupid tournament. And then whenever the Galaxy play in it again next time, I'll be like, man, it's not so bad. It's kind of fun. Hey, I get to go to the stadium.
I'm not going to say that I'm like a huge proponent of Leagues Cup, but I probably don't hate it as much as the average fan because you do get, to your point, to play against other competition, USA, Mexico, having these 2 rival leagues. I think that's a good thing. I think you want to have these competitions. Other leagues, around the world have breaks for Champions League and Europa League and Super, I forget what the other I forget what it's called. There's a third one now that my mind is going blank on. Europa Conference League. That's what it is. Conference League. So there's all these other competitions. So I think it's not unfair, to say MLS and, the American leagues can fit in and have these other competitions as well. I don't see an issue with Leagues Cup. I understand why people don't like it and the feeling behind it, but I also feel the same way about something like a Nations League, where Nations League didn't exist, and so you can say, oh well, this is just kind of a made up competition. Well, yeah, everything was a made up competition. The sport of soccer was a made up competition until people started caring. So everything was kind of made up and a cash grab until it wasn't. So I do think that you can't poo-poo it every single time. There is some value to it. I understand where people are coming from, where they don't like it, but I think it's a great opportunity to test yourself against rival leagues, and it creates that rivalry spirit. You saw the games last season. Whenever these teams faced off, the LA Galaxy always faced the team with like a little extra, something. They always went into it with a little something extra, and I think the Galaxy stepped up in this tournament because they knew they weren't going against a team that they were going to see again, 2 months from now or down the line. It was a one-off opportunity, and you saw a little bit of a different situation. So I think it only help builds the competition.
One thing I have to get you to weigh in on, Kevin Baxter went to Venice and said it reminded him of Pirates of the Caribbean. What thoughts on that?
Take of the year. I gotta love it. It's why we love the Panda.
My wife lost it.
You're not going to get that anywhere else.
My wife lost it. Someone who studied abroad in Italy. She was in Rome, but went up to Venice. She was like, "He what? On the camera in front of people?" I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Here's the schedule for the LA Galaxy coming up here. Just a reminder, not headed to Venice, so don't have to worry about that particular little situation. Kevin, I don't know if Kevin's gonna be allowed to go back to Venice, quite honestly. So Galaxy,
No Olive Garden, Pirates of the Caribbean references. You gotta love it.
It's gonna be a fun one, that's for sure. All right, we look at this. I just want you to go over these games a little bit because Matt Doyle brought something up, and I think we touched on it, but I want to get to it a little bit more. Just go ahead and look at how many home teams won games last week, right? So Red Bull, Chicago, Minnesota, Colorado, San Jose, RSL. There was a draw. Houston didn't win against LAFC. Another draw.
Two red cards. Yeah,
two red cards. That whole thing. Vancouver wins. LA wins. Austin wins. Christian Ramirez goal. Philadelphia lost. Orlando lost, and San Diego won at home. But there was a lot of home wins there.
Yeah,
so Matt, go ahead.
I was going to say, if you go back to that, the other thing that I'll point out is New York at Philadelphia, again, basically neighboring cities. Miami at Orlando, again, in-state rivals there. So we're seeing a theme with that cross-country travel. Again, no duh. We see this every time. Body clock, your famous thing. Those upsets seem to be with, the more regional rivals. So I think there is something to the cross country travel or the body clock version or what goes into that. So I think that's why Colorado is going to be a good test because of the altitude and a little bit of a body clock difference as far as when kickoff is. So that I think we're going to get a lot of questions answered for this Colorado match.
Yeah, I think that points out. It's just sort of looking at the home teams, right? And the home teams, and we know that in MLS there's a home field advantage. We've always known that. Matt Doyle explains it, and if you're not following Matt Doyle at Tactics Free Zone and all the fun stuff that he has, he says home field advantage in MLS was never a mystery, but its sudden return is. And this is an excerpt from his Substack that he has. He says that's still not as easy as European teams have it, nor much of Latin America, but it's a massive improvement. Away dates are now less daunting, and so while in the first half of the last decade, the winning percentages for home teams was usually around 50%, over the first half of this decade, it's dropped closer to 40%. So we have a handle on this, right? We all understand in what direction everything's gone and where it's still headed. MLS still has a strong home field advantage, relatively speaking, but not as strong as it used to be. Write it in pen. Now erase it, because what the actual F happened here. The 2026 season is 2 weeks old, and home teams have gone 21 wins, 5 draws, 4 losses. And 2 of those 4 losses belong to one team. Sorry, Orlando fans. I just checked, and that is the most pronounced home field advantage we've ever seen to start a season. So are we seeing this sort of tilt back? I will say this, and I mentioned it at the beginning, and I don't know if Matt touches on it, but I imagine that he does. You touched on it already. Watching all the East Coast teams travel west because of weather and going into the warmer things, that has an effect on home field advantage. The farther you travel, I absolutely believe the less likely you are to win a game, which means the Galaxy could have a good chance of winning because it's not that far whenever you're looking at it. But just looking at that home field advantage of it it being so lopsided right now, I have a feeling that will start to autocorrect itself here. We're just small sample size 2 weeks in, but I'm feeling like there's an autocorrect coming.
Are you ready for pro referees to catch their second stray?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so part of what home field advantage has to do with the referees actually pay a big portion of this as well. Whenever there's a hostile home crowd, referees are human beings, and so that tends to influence how they call a game. Obviously, we don't get the love from VAR with that, NYC call there, but in general, I think Malcolm Gladwell had a podcast where they talked about this, where the referees have an impact on these games with yellow cards and with blowing the whistle against the away team, because there's just, whether it's conscious or subconscious, they're wanting to please, they don't want to get booed out of the building. And so that's a piece of it. So again, is it, the caliber of referee who's a little bit more shaken by a home crowd? Maybe they're calling it a little bit differently. That could be part of it as well. I think it has more to do with the cross-country travel, but that's just another layer of the onion that you can consider as the referees play a huge part of this as well.
It certainly could. Let's go over your standings one more time. Just in the Eastern Conference with New York Red Bulls out in front. It's New York, Nashville, New York City, Chicago, Cincinnati, DC, Miami, Columbus, and Charlotte. And then we go over to the Western Conference. It's San Diego, San Jose, LAFC. God, the West. Am I wrong? Is the West going to be a good? I expect.
Is San Diego good again?
I don't know.
Was it a fluke? I was hoping they would not be good, but it looks like they probably are. Yeah, that just makes me upset.
It just feels like, okay, so like just let's just say like good team, not good team. Those are the only two choices, right? So San Diego, good team. San Jose,
probably good. Mm-hmm.
Probably good. I don't
probably
know.
Good.
Probably.
Yeah.
They have plenty of time to lose it. They're going to be first on they're falling as soon as they do. LAFC, good team. One of the best teams. Them in Miami. I'm going to say it right now. I need you all to be prepared for this. It's LAFC in the Western Conference. They are the favorites to win the Western Conference. Just that's going to be the uphill battle the Galaxy take to every El Tráfico they play this year. Every time the playoffs looming, anything that can happen. If the Galaxy are for real team, then that's the team they're going to have to beat this year. Yeah, you're not going to skip them this time.
It's always your measuring stick, but like you see it this year, and the one. I'll spin the positive thing here as well. Is they look like they're firing on all cylinders now. Can they sustain that? Are they gonna get tired? Is it gonna are you gonna lose the motivation as the season goes on? So that's a thing that you're gonna keep an eye out. I think Miami a couple seasons ago everyone was saying that they were going to win the whole thing, and then it seemed like it started to kind of fall apart towards the end. They held it all together last season, which was surprising because it was the second season of doing that. So that's going to be the question: is there an opportunity where it's kind of going to all fall apart for the neighbors as well? So that's something to keep an eye on, to throw the positive spin on there. But right now, again, obviously we're in LA Galaxy homer situation, but you have to call it for what it is right now. They're looking good. So that's going to be the measuring stick this season for sure.
Back to it. So LAFC, good team. Vancouver, good team. LA Galaxy, good team. Austin, I'm not sold yet, man. That's it's too early for you to be. So I'm going to say bad team Austin. I don't believe it.
Better than last season. It seems like coaching change and some new dynamics. Improved team. I don't know if I'm ready to call them a good team.
You just wait. They're going to be at the top of the Western Conference in like 3 weeks, and I'm going to be like, oh, I guess I was an idiot.
Christian Ramirez, Golden Boot leader, and just we're gonna look real silly.
Yeah, absolutely. Minnesota, good team. Dallas, no, I refuse. There will be no Dallas is a good team. Seattle should be a good team. Salt Lake actually looks. If you watch them play, they look good. I mean, again, you're like you get the back and forth between an away game and a home game, and you see the difference between the two. You're like, okay, Colorado. I do not believe in this Colorado team. I know they're going to be a pain, but I do not believe. Portland, no. Houston, no. St. Louis, no. Kansas City deserves to be in USL like League One right now.
I think, bottom four, and again, way too early based on this, but the bottom four, I could talk myself in saying, those are probably not good teams this season. Colorado, we'll find out. I'm not sold on Colorado either. I'm also not sold on Salt Lake. And Seattle, it's a mental bias thing. You can never count Seattle all the way out. But to my point, is this the season? Is this the year where those names that have been around for so long, where where they aged Father Time, finally catches up to him. This could be the year for Seattle where it all catches up with them.
I mean, it could be. It just probably won't be. Every time you're like, oh man, look, they're way out of it. It's like middle of the season, then they end up making the playoffs. You're like, okay, I guess I was wrong again. I don't know what to tell
I've been praying on their downfall for way too long, and it just doesn't keep happening.
Let's get to some super chats. Lasso, $10 super chat. Evening, gents. Thought. Love Garces, especially his wheels, but feel safer with Glesnes and Maya. You guys? I mean... How can I there's a thought that immediately popped in my head, which is why I might be fighting against it. It's like dating the really like crazy like fun girl like Garces. Hey, it's fun. It's fun.
It's gonna be a fun time. I hear you.
Things are gonna happen that you're like, that was crazy awesome. The whole deal. But like, and this goes for the crazy guy too. Like, there's crazy guys out there too. I don't want to pretend like there's only one. But it's like, you go out with the crazy. I have been there. I've gone out with the person. I'm like, man, that person looks fun. Like a lot of fun. And you're like, oh man. But there's also parts where her ex-boyfriend is chasing you down in his truck whenever you're out on a date that are not, you're like, that's not so much fun. That's a little crazy.
Yeah.
That's Garces to me. He's fun. There's gonna be an experience, but I don't know that you can predict that experience, right? That would be my take.
Yeah. Then you send a text message to your sister and then they say, who's that? Next thing you know, all 4 tires are slashed. Yeah. That's the Garces experience. I think I'm with you. I do feel safer with Glesnes and Maya. I agree, Lasso. I think there's more upside with Garces. And I think, I don't know if it was Damien or Kevin that made the point where
somebody goes,
watch the recovery.
Yes.
I think it's is it a Maldini quote that if you have to slide, it's already too late.
Yes.
If Garces is running back, then the mistake has already been made. Where someone like Glesnes is already putting himself in the situation. I have my critiques of Maya, but it also seems like him paired with Glesnes brings Maya's level up, whereas the Maya being paired with Garces puts a little bit more pressure on him and brings his level down. So I think Glesnes on the field works twofold because it takes the pressure off of Maya, which allows him to play better. And so I think that is going to be the center back pairing. I imagine you mentioned it. I think Garces is going to be in the doghouse for a minute here.
Yeah, he's injured, so that also helps. I think there's no truth to the rumor that Vanney broke Garces' toe. I don't even know it's a broken toe. He has some sort of injury to his toe, but no. It just, I'll say this: they're like a warm hug, right? That's the warm hug that you're like, oh, that's nice. That feels
it's wholesome.
Yeah, it's wholesome.
It's a cute cat video on Reels or on TikTok, right?
That's exactly what it is. No, and if you look at how the LA Galaxy play, including Novak Mitrovic, everybody's a lot more calm whenever those two are back there. It's like, it's okay, we're fine. Now Maya gave up the ball in a couple places.
Mom and dad are here.
Yeah, mom and dad are here. It's 100. Like it's safe. You're good. Mom and dad are going to pay for dinner. You're not going to be hungry. Like the whole deal. Like you can do that, right? So I think that's where that sort of stays. I will say I thought it was interesting. Maya Yoshida, after the La Charlotte game, he came out and he was saying basically he made the comment. He goes, we asked, the question was sort of about him and what he changed in the offseason to sort of come back, because he said things have to change. And he goes, hey, I came into this offseason in really good shape. I did all the blood work. I did all the things. He goes, but it's going to be up to you. And he was pointing to the reporters and basically the fans too. He's like, you guys are going to have to tell me whether I'm still good or not in the summertime. He goes, it's not up to me. Like, he goes, I'm going to try my hardest every single time. He goes, it's difficult, sort of for me to gauge that. It's going to be up to you. You guys will decide. And I thought that was like a real, again, it's
mature, that's exactly what you want for mom and dad. Like I said, that's the advice that you need, the wisdom that is within that. Again, you can grind as hard as you want, but if the whole world is telling you, I talk about this all the time with, of course I'm going to tie it to students and behavior and different things. If everyone else is the problem, then maybe everyone else is not the problem. Maybe you're the problem if everyone else is the problem. So it's similar where if Maya is hearing from everyone else that he's playing poorly, but he feels like he's doing great, at some point you kind of need to have some introspection and think, okay, I do need to listen if everyone else is kind of saying the same thing. So I'm rooting for him this season. I want him to do well. That's someone who was critical of him last season. I thought there were some mistakes and some flaws, but I'm here for the Maya redemption season, #redemption season. I'm all for it. So I'm rooting for him.
Yeah. just interesting to see how that all goes. By the way, the whole there's something wrong with everybody else is what I call the Holden Caulfield syndrome from Catcher in the Rye.
There you go.
Yeah, just read that book. That's always good.
Classic.
I enjoyed it. I can go back and read that one again. So that's what we have there. We have another question we have a bunch of questions from David, actually. So a bunch of $5 super chats. Did you guys know that Messi's Inter Miami visited the White House? Any idea why the LA Galaxy did not visit the White House last year? To my knowledge, they were not invited. I don't know if the schedules just didn't match up or whatever. And I've had that. I think that happened one other year where schedules just did not match up and it did not happen. And there was no way to make it happen. And it was one of those. But to my knowledge,
there wasn't DC United away was not on the schedule.
Right, exactly.
Last season. That's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's be real. There was other things happening with LA Galaxy last season and how people had feelings about political climate. And I wouldn't be shocked if that was a reason too.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was the reason. Yeah.
If they got invited and we didn't hear about it. But I did ask at one point at some time, it was earlier in the last season, like, hey, is that going to happen? And they were like, we haven't heard anything about it. So I generally trust that I just don't believe it ever lined up. So that was my understanding of it, because I also saw that I was like, yep, that makes some sense. To see whether or not, by the way, don't know if the LA Galaxy would have gone if they were invited. So there's a whole bunch of stuff in that. So always
there's wrinkles to that for sure.
David, again, $5 super chat. To me, the best penalty kick taker for the LA Galaxy is Landon Donovan. I know he missed the penalty at the MLS Cup in 2009. I was there in that building whenever he missed it, but he made up for it in the 2011 MLS Cup. We sort of said, when was the last time you felt good about penalty kick takers for the LA Galaxy the whole day? I mean, Robbie Keane, I think, was a pretty good penalty kick taker.
Zlatan's my answer.
Zlatan's a good answer.
Yeah, you felt confident. I think even when he missed it, he made it because it would bounce and he'd tap it back in anyway. So Zlatan was the last time I feel comfortable. I do have a Landon take here.
Yeah.
And I think it ties in to this. Looking back, he's not the person that's going to jump to mind. Okay, he's the best penalty taker that the LA Galaxy had. But my Landon Donovan thoughts, the more I look back on him, the more fondly I look at him.
Yep.
Because he was someone where in the moment, and again, he's talked about this, where there was a lot of criticism of him, and it always felt like you wanted more from him, so you wanted more for him, so you expected more from him. And so I think a lot of people were critical of Landon Donovan, and I'm throwing myself in that category. But the more you look back, what a stud he was, and what you would kill to have someone like a Landon Donovan on your team. Now, the more you look back and say, man, he was, what a career, what moments that he had, that 2011 MLS Cup, goal to make it happen.
Right.
You just look back and you say, oh yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
And maybe I didn't appreciate it to its fullest. There were a lot of people who did appreciate it to its fullest, but I think the more I look back on it, the more I appreciate someone like Landon Donovan.
David asks, any idea why MLS All-Stars stopped facing the European teams instead of playing against Liga MX? Yeah, money. They like, and by the way, I don't think that there were enough European teams that wanted to do the preseason and sort of have that as a game.
Yeah.
That gets to be a little bit too much of a competitive game. So why not throw it against Liga MX and MLS where they like to kick each other? So it seems to be a little bit more thing. Yeah,
it's a lose-lose for the European teams as well, because they come over here and beat up on MLS All-Stars. You're supposed to beat up on MLS All-Stars. You come over here and lose, and then you walk away with your head in shame because you lost to MLS All-Stars. So I think it's a bit of a losing bet for those teams to do that. If the price is right and they fill the stadium and get those tickets, I'm sure an Arsenal or Tottenham or whoever is going to come over and play in that game. But I think right now, I think the All-Star game against Liga MX, I think like I said, it's like Leagues Cup. I think it works, but
it's going to die.
But yeah, I think we may be moving towards East-West. You think we'll do East-West again or like a skills competition? I'm the wrong guy to ask. I love the skills competition. I love that.
It's so much fun. I always enjoy that. That's my favorite part of the All. It's like the home run derby is the best part of the All-Star game. It's like the same thing. It's the skills competition is more fun to watch. My whole thing is that I think with the calendar and now, how are you going to sort of switch that around and do? You're going to do an All-Star game in the winter? Is that when you're going to do it? Like in the coldest of the colds? Are you going to do it? I don't think it works. I don't think it works anymore. So I think that's going to go away. And finally, David says, does Carlos El Pescadito Ruiz deserve some type of recognition for his goal at the 2002 MLS Cup from the LA Galaxy? I mean, I think he gets it. That was a super important goal for a guy that when you look at it, wasn't with the LA Galaxy, as long as you remember him being with the LA Galaxy, right? That's one of those guys you're like, he was on that team for like 15 years, right? And the whole day it's like, nope, that's not the way it is. But I know that people still talk about that goal whenever you go mentioning some of the best goals of all time. Yeah, absolutely.
And to zoom back again, the league was obviously very young at that time, but the LA Galaxy making an MLS Cup final in the inaugural season, making it back to another MLS Cup final a couple years later and losing to DC United, being in MLS Cup final the year prior and losing out to it. So at the time, there was this like, the Galaxy are never going to win it. Obviously, so young, the league was so young, and there wasn't a huge sample size. But if 3 out of the 6 years that there were finals, you made it and you have nothing to show for it, it starts to get real frustrating. So for it to go into overtime and that goal when it happened, it was a real special moment to finally kind of
get over
break that curse. Yeah, to break that curse and to be. So he's forever going to be a G moving forward because that goal is legendary status. I don't know if to your point, I don't know that he had the length of a career where you're going to go back and build a statue type of thing, but he absolutely does need some, a plaque in the garden, something to commemorate that moment because it's a legendary moment.
I almost wonder if there isn't a plaque somewhere inside the stadium. There's lots of plaques.
You're probably right. Yeah.
Sometimes I miss them, so I will have to. I have to go trouncing through. Let's get ready for this Colorado game. The LA Galaxy taking on the Colorado Rapids. Colorado coming off a 2-0 win over Portland. A game in which they jumped on Portland and they held them down and they sort of they squeezed the life out of them there, and then Portland decided that was enough. As we see the LA Galaxy and the travel that is now happening, we are going to go from Dignity Health Sports Park over to Los Angeles International Airport, where the LA Galaxy will board a plane. It's like only going there a lot faster. Always feels better about an hour and 45. Coming back 2:15. So this is one of the trips I've made a million times. Down there catching the big loop out of the airport and over to Commerce City, which isn't that far away. So Commerce City, best known for the groundhogs or the gophers that have the plague, as everybody knows.
The plague, yes.
Yeah, the plague.
Famous for the plague. Is
famous
Dick's Sporting Good Park, yeah.
For the plague. Hanging out there. It is, and if you've never been there, it is, I've talked about this a bunch. This is the stadium I've been to the most outside of Dignity Health Sports Park. Because I have family in Colorado. So whenever I go there, I try to always catch a game. So I have caught many a Colorado Rapids game. It is a stamped copy of Dignity Health Sports Park, just without all the good things. So it's definitely interesting to see that. We have talked about it. Do you remember? Remember we had the young lady who asked her boyfriend out to like winter formal or prom on that.
Yes.
So the full circle of that is that the gentleman who was asked out actually works for the Colorado Rapids now. His name's Ryan. Ryan works for the Colorado Rapids.
Does videos
for them.
Correct?
Yep,
yes.
Absolutely, 100%. So I just always like that.
The legend,
folder.
Ryan, the legend.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was obviously we're gonna shout out ourselves. That was one of those things I was like, oh, people actually listen. Like we're gonna be able to do that type of thing. Like that was the first moment I was like, hey, this is kind of cool. People listen. You're able to connect with the fans and kind of make that connection. So that was I'm always gonna remember that moment and Ryan for doing that. So again, we know where his heart is. We're not going to call him out on those things, but keep your job. Don't get fired for sure.
So that is Commerce, Colorado, by the way, the city of Commerce, which you can call the city of Commerce, but then it sounds like the city of Commerce that's in Los Angeles.
Commerce Casino, you start running into all those different things.
Yes, because they have like the city of Commerce is like the name, not just Commerce, the city of Commerce. So anyway, just one of those weird sort of things. Here's the thing that I watched whenever I saw this game playing, and by the way, red card in this game, of course, because there's always a red card in all these games, is that. And Greg Vanney hinted at this today, is that this Colorado team is energetic. Just looking at, Navarro and Harris. Yeah, useful, young, Cannon on the back line there, obviously. Zach Steffen in goal, who has been doing a good job. He was actually, so the funny thing is, so they win 2-0 against Portland. You look at the ratings, though, and a 7-6 overall for a team is not like super, super high. But there are some players that played well. The 8-1 from Navarro, but who was the number one player of all? It was like the 8-6 from Steffen, because Portland did have some chances in there and did try to, put their imprint on this game, and couldn't do it. Greg Vanney said this, Eric, and then I'll turn it over to you for your thoughts on Colorado. He said, I expect that they're going to be energetic, and I expect that in that first 15, 20 minutes, they're going to put the pressure, high press. He goes, and they're going to force you to make mistakes. And if they can capitalize on those mistakes while you're gasping for air in the first 15 minutes, trying to get acclimatized, trying to settle down, whenever maybe you're just not thinking correctly and you're not disciplined enough and everything that sort of happens, if you make those mistakes, then Colorado will take advantage of those. Yeah. And so I think that that's sort of what you can expect coming out of the gates. Energetic, youthful. They're going to try to run the Galaxy into the ground. And the only way that you really fight that off is by breaking the press, being able to put some pressure in behind them and making them come back and defend. So again, a different type of game, as Jakob Glesnes put into the words there.
It's funny that you mentioned that, and Q and Brew in the chat also said the same thing about the first 15 minutes. Much like the Charlotte game, I feel like the first 15 minutes is going to dictate how this game goes, because we're going to find out, what Colorado has and what danger they're going to possess, because are they going to catch the Galaxy sleeping? I think if they could withstand those first 15 minutes, then you have the opportunity for a smash and grab situation if the defense can continue to hold tight. My method, and if you've been listening to the show, probably exactly what I'm going to say next. You look at their lineup and you think, who scares you on that lineup? Who are the players that you need to worry about? Stefan is a name that jumps out. He has the ability to stand on his head and absolutely have a great match and making it difficult to score. He's had games that have been some stinkers as well. So it's just going to be, which Zach Steffen do you get? A name like Reggie Cannon back there is a familiar name, that you always have to watch out for. Paxton Aronson is someone who's going to play that creator, bring that energy. He's going to be the maestro, there. And then, of course, Navarro up front as well as someone you have to watch out for. So they do have names that can scare you, but at the same time, it's not anything that you think and you look back at a Glesnes or a Cerrillo and you say, it doesn't feel like they have that player who's going to break, a part of our defensive line. And so I don't know who's going to be the goal scorer for this Rapids team. So from that, I think if the Galaxy defense goes in on a mission, I think you have an opportunity to see them do something special and possibly get that smash and grab. Smash and grab, indeed. Little D ratings for you today. What do you got? Yeah, D ratings. So again, D ratings is back, baby. So again, I'll just start there. The LA Galaxy with a 30% chance to win, a 26.5% chance to draw, and then a 43.4% chance for Colorado to win. So again, if that worries you, the home team always has the home field advantage. We just talked about Matt Doyle and everything that goes into that. So of course, the home team is going to be at an advantage. But this percentage, when you look at what we've looked over in the past, this is not not something that's impossible for the Galaxy. Again, you always look at where does it skew towards 50% for a point. If you add it together, the Galaxy with 30% and 26%. Whenever you get over the 50% mark at an away game, that's a promising sign. And then when you look at the Vegas odds, the lines opened at plus 175 for the LA Galaxy, and then plus what is it, plus 139. My eyes, of course, getting old sucks. What? Yeah. Plus 130 for Colorado. Yep. So again, so Colorado being the favorite, but not by much, and so it seems like it could be a little bit of a toss up. So we're going to find out who's for real in this game. I feel like the defense can make a statement in this match. Very well could. Colorado losing their first game to Seattle, 2-0 loss, and then coming home and winning 2-0. So getting that under their belts there. Again, I like your 56% chance of a draw or better. Yeah, of a point or better is not so bad whenever you look at it. Just real telling for me, and I purposely left up the Charlotte stats so I could go back and look at this starting lineup again. I'm not sure you change much. Maybe you could put John Nelson in for Aude if you wanted to, right? Like you could do some little tiny things. I don't think you change that midfield with Winder and Sanabria and Cerrillo. I don't think that gets touched after what they did against Charlotte. You find out if that's something. I liked it. I raised a little bit of an eyebrow. I was like, okay, how's this going to work? But after I saw, I think they found something, and I think if you roll it out again, I'm with you. You roll it out again, you find out, okay, did they find something that they can use moving forward? My takeaway from that, I mentioned it at the beginning of the show with Marco Reus. If this is a situation where Marco Reus and Sophie mentioned it last week is your luxury coming off the bench, then that is golden.
Yeah,
if you have Winder and Sanabria starting games and then you bring Reus on to kill games off, that is the dream scenario. That's exactly what you want. Again, depending on Reus to make things happen, as much talent and as much class as he has, we've seen how that hasn't necessarily worked out for the Galaxy. So I think this could set them up in a really nice way for the season.
Guy has like 19 goal contributions and 22 starts or something like that. Just again, I don't want to like 28 total games played, 22 starts, and he has 19 plus goals contributions. He does get it done. We actually said last year if he stays on the field, he's your most valuable player, right?
That's the kicker.
That's the kicker, and that's where you're going to say. All right,
28 games over 2 years is not. Yeah, that's where you.
Year and a half.
That's where I'm coming from.
Stop rounding. Year and a half.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, absolutely. Predictions guaranteed to be wrong for you, Mr. Eric Vieira.
Well, I gave the foreshadowing. I kept saying smash and grab. I think the defense holds on. The Klauss sled keeps moving. They smash and grab 1-0. The Galaxy win this game on the road.
Wow.
One win in one game on the road that beats 0 wins in 17 attempts in 2025. I think that's the narrative that the Galaxy need to shape to open this season, is that this is not the 2025 LA Galaxy, and the first road win of the season sets that tone.
Over under on how many shots on goal the LA Galaxy allow in this game. Over under, I will set at 4.
I will go under.
Okay. All right.
Although Colorado, I look at the players that they have, they'd probably like to take some audacious attempts as well.
They did. You
have the correct line.
Okay, 2.7 was their expected goals against Portland at home.
Yeah, 25 shots. Yeah, 25 maybe shots. Over is the correct one. Yeah, that tells you everything. Like I said, I expect them to maybe go some opportunities. Maybe over is the right call.
Maybe it is. I don't know.
I believe in this LA Galaxy defense.
That's fun. That's nice of you. After you threw Glesnes under the bus earlier today, it was
this is my time to say I trust Glesnes.
The best thing. Yeah, he's the best thing since sliced bread.
I trust Glesnes to keep the number 4. You know what? I'm going back under. You know what?
Back under. They don't even get a shot on goal.
Boo-boo. There you go.
Yeah, whole deal. 1-1, I think. 1-1.
That's probably the right answer.
There is a part of me, and don't get mad, but there's a part of me that wants to see what happens when the Galaxy gets scored on first. Because I want to see how they play.
I want to see it. Yeah.
It's going to happen eventually. I don't know that I need to see it in this game. I'm just saying it's going to happen eventually. I'd like to see how they respond. There's a famous game that happened to Colorado. I think it was a midweek game. Miss Kelly Tennant was patrolling the sidelines. I talk about this all the time. Miss Kelly Tennant was patrolling the sidelines, the sideline reporter. The Galaxy, I think, are losing like 2-0 or something like that at halftime, the whole deal. Bruce Arena comes out of the locker room. He goes over and talks to Kelly, and he goes, "You just wait and see." He goes, "These guys are going to have to show me something tonight. Like, they're going to have to show up and perform." And they came out, and I think they ended up winning that game like 4-2 or 4-3, whatever it was. That's when you have like championship teams, whenever you know that there needs to be a response and they're capable of giving you a response. I want to see what happens when they get smacked in the face. Because yes, they did it against the Panamanian side. Okay, whatever. We're not there. We weren't there yet, right? And
it was a weird situation too.
Weird situation, but also the Galaxy didn't have the midfield that they wanted to have. Now they have the players who are available that they want to have. Parente's available. You have Winder available. You have Sanabria available. You have Cerrillo available. You have Hack able to come in there. And people, by the way, rightfully calling out that maybe Hack is a better idea at center back for a high-altitude game where you're going to run, or you can always sub them in for Maya too. There's options here, as Greg says, 2 people at almost every place. Maybe Cerrillo's going to run so much that Hack is going to come in the second half and cover for Cerrillo. Maybe the Galaxy get a lead and he's going to come in for Sanabria, right? Like, there's all these options that you can sort of play out. And I think getting Hack on the field eventually is going to be a priority that they're going to want to do. It's a luxury to have him on the bench, but they're going to want to get it. But I want to see what happens when the LA Galaxy gets smacked in the face and what that response looks like and how mature this team is, because we talked about them growing. We talked about them getting a little bit older. Show me. So I'm going to say 1-1. I'm going to say that it's going to be over on the shots on goal, over 4.
Okay.
But I don't think it's severely over. But as soon as they get 2, they will have matched the total number of shots on goal the LA Galaxy have allowed so far this season in Major League Soccer through 2 games. So if this is really going to be a defensive team, Eric, then your like 1-0 smash and grab is not the wrong call. If this is a 2011 defense,
we're going to find out. Yeah.
And I think it can be. So
and I agree with you on I want to see what this team looks like when they get punched in the mouth. I just don't know that Colorado is that team that's going to I don't want to see them do that against Colorado. I want to see them do that against a San Diego, an LAFC. That's who I want to see them have that grit and have that battle back. If Colorado's a team that they have to fight back from, then that may not necessarily be, a great omen for the season. So I'm with you on wanting to see that. I just don't necessarily want to see that in this match.
I will tell you this, that if the LA Galaxy have to battle, and if they have to do, who the guy who's going to grind it out for 90 minutes at altitude is and not going to care that he has 5 games in 16 days? Your man.
It's Glesnes.
No, it was Klauss. It was Klauss.
Klauss, okay.
Klauss. That's
See, I went the other direction.
Klauss. No, he's gonna grind
well,
it.
Well, both
man.
of them. Yeah.
He's gonna grind it.
They're yin and yang.
Yes, they are. 100%. That's their new nicknames. Yin and yang. Which one's which? I don't know. We're gonna have to figure that out later.
Yeah, yak and yang. We'll figure it out.
Yak. Nobody calls him that, though. That's Jakob, we're starting. That's what it's coming down. I don't even know how to tell you. I didn't mean to do it, but it's happened now. A big yak.
Yak and Jow.
Yeah.
Like there's something there.
Yak and Jow. That could be a podcast.
That sounds like a meal, like a delicacy somewhere.
You could get that. You have to order it, but it's a secret menu.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
All right. We're done. And that concludes the podcast, folks.
Klausnes. They're not dating. This isn't the whole deal. Klausnes. I love it. You just combine them together.
It's not a Benifer situation here.
No, we don't need that. All right.
And you're not going to beat Benifer. That's an all-timer.
That was it. That's when it ended. So, all right. The LA Galaxy taking on the Colorado Rapids. Coming up, I believe that's a 6:30 p.m. It is 6:30 p.m. is your TV start time on Apple TV, and of course your kickoff should be right around 6:40, I would imagine, if we're playing the home game on that one. So that's what you're going to watch coming up on Saturday. The LA Galaxy only 1 game this week, which allows us to have a nice little relaxing Thursday night instead of trying to cover 3 games and do everything else. But on Monday night we'll be right back because the Galaxy have a home game on Wednesday night at 6:30 p.m. on a Wednesday.
That's rough.
In 2026, anyway.
You have to take a half day at that point.
Yes. I don't even know how I'm going to get away from that one. All right. But yeah, so that game will be coming up as well. So on Monday, we'll have that all set for you. We have a bunch of things. We are discussing a live show coming up in April. Just sort of wanted to wet your whistle with that, and hopefully you'll be there to join us. We're gonna try to figure that out here in the next couple days. That way we can officially launch that and start going with it. But I think you'll be excited about it. I'm excited about it. So live show possibly coming up in April. We'll get you all settled for that. All right, Mr. Eric, the Portuguese Hammer. Anything else that you would like to talk about tonight?
Just want to give a quick shout out to Puzzle Piece for the shirt. We saw Eddie and Tony out at Coachella. Solid dudes. They're printing some shirts. So they're at Puzzle Piece. That's PZZL.PEACE, so peace like peace sign. So they have some LA Galaxy themed shirts and some more. We've had some conversations with Eddie. There's only so much blue, white, and gold you can do.
Yes.
So I love that they still show love to the G's, but it's a little bit kind of outside the box and brings a little bit of a different flavor. So shout out to Eddie and Tony, solid dudes there. Puzzle Piece, go follow them, check them out.
Tell everybody where they can find you, Eric. Let's go.
All right, and then you can find me on all social media at HammerEV9. That's HammerEV and the number 9.
Looking for me on social media at Galaxy Podcast, cornerofthegalaxy.com. Anywhere you can find your podcasts, you can find Corner of the Galaxy. Just type in Corner of the Galaxy. Tell your friends, tell your family. Thank you for hanging out with us on a Thursday night. We're going to be rocking and rolling as the Galaxy get ready for this away game. Again, no away wins since 2024, so any win would, of course, break that streak. And doing it early, always better than doing it late. LA Galaxy Colorado Rapids coming up on Saturday at 6:30 p.m. on Apple TV. All right. That does it. We'll be back on Monday. We'll recap this one, get you ready for Mount Pleasant and the CONCACAF Champions Cup coming up on Wednesday. Lots of soccer coming to you in March, and we are happy to bring it to you. For Mr. Eric, the Portuguese Hammer Vieira, I'm Josh Pato Guesman. You've been listening. You've been watching to our little Corner of the Galaxy. Have a great one, everybody.
You've been listening to the Corner of the Galaxy podcast on cornerofthegalaxy.com. You can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Galaxy Podcast. And be sure to check out and subscribe to iTunes, Stitcher, and Facebook by searching for Corner of the Galaxy. Fans, we thank you for listening, and we ask that you be kind and courteous to your neighbors as you leave the podcast. We thank you for joining us and look forward to seeing you again. Until then, I'm Michael Araujo, and on behalf of the entire Corner of the Galaxy crew, goodbye, everybody.